Aria Finger. My actual title is CEO and Chief Old Person at DoSomething.org, and that will make sense in a minute. And I'm also the president of our strategy firm, TMI. And so wanted to take it from the big picture down to the tactical. How do brands actually do this? How do they innovate through purpose? How do they partner with nonprofits to create real social change in the world, but also real bottom line for their company? So as he said, I'm going to talk about a real partnership win, but also a real partnership failure. So who are we? Why should you even listen to what we're talking about? Because we have been around for a long time. We are a global organization that is all about getting young people involved in social change, and we use technology to do that. If we were a city, we would be the second largest city in the wonderful United States with 5.5 million members. And these members are young people. They're teenagers, they're college students who haven't just clicked a button, but they have raised their hand and done something. They have made change in the world. But we're actually not just in the US. We are in 131 countries around the world. So we're a global organization, and we'd like to give young people a real local focus. And in the US, we're actually in every area code with over 1 million rural members. And I think that's critically important, especially in this time, post-election, where everyone's talking about the coasts. DoSomething members are actually more likely to go to church on Sunday than the average American teenager or college students, and we are really proud of that. So what do? We run campaigns on any cause you can imagine. Discrimination, global warming, global poverty, cancer, homelessness, anything that young people care about, we have a campaign on. And a campaign is a simple call to action on a single cause that motivates tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people to take action. An example, this coming Friday is the beginning of Ramadan. So we're running a nationwide campaign that is activating the youth of America to create happy Ramadan cards for their Muslim neighbors, and we are sending these cards to every single mosque in this country to show them that teens don't discriminate. They are here for their Muslim neighbors. And that's just one of the 275 campaigns we have live on site. And so with all of these campaigns and with all this data and with all these young people, we thought we should share our information. We couldn't keep it to ourselves. So about 4 years ago, we started TMI. It's a strategy firm within DoSomething. And the whole goal of TMI is to use our expertise to help our clients, brands, nonprofits, to help motivate their stakeholders, their consumers, to take action. And we sort of have 3 tenets at TMI. We say we understand young people. We don't really talk about anyone who's over age 35. 35 and under is our expertise. I'm about to age out, which is really frustrating. We also get data. Everything we do is data-backed, the data from DoSomething and also our own proprietary research at TMI. And then lastly, we get people moving. We don't want awareness only. We want to get people active and taking action and making a real impact. And then our services, we do insights and strategy, content planning, community development. We have clients, nonprofits like Feeding America, or big companies, ESPN, Microsoft, Spotify. We work with anyone who cares about the youth demo, but also wants to make an impact on the world and believes that will strengthen their company. And 100% of our profits go back to DoSomething. We've actually brought in over $6 million for DoSomething in just 4 short years. So let's do this. We're going to share a case study, a partnership win. This was a campaign we did called Come Back Clothes. The campaign was with H&M. And if you don't know, H&M has an amazing program in store right now where, I really hate to reference Donald Trump again, but say you're Donald Trump, noted environmentalist, and you're eating steak with ketchup, and you spill some of that ketchup on your shirt. Instead of just throwing it away, you can take your shirt to H&M, and they will make sure it gets reused or recycled and doesn't end up in landfills. This program is amazing. Turns out, though, H&M US was getting their butt kicked by H&M Sweden and Switzerland and France and all the H&Ms around the world, so they needed to do better. Enter DoSomething. We partnered on this campaign, Come Back Clothes. We brought in Victoria Justice as a celebrity spokesperson, and we created this campaign to engage and activate young people on college campuses to drop off their unwanted clothes at their local H&M. And it worked. We had amazing DoSomething members collecting clothes with their sororities in their dorm rooms with their friends, and it was awesome. And we collected 340,000 pounds of clothes. That's clothes kept out of landfills in just 8 weeks, and that was an increase of 240% over the previous year of what H&M was doing. And And so we were pretty psyched about this because not only did we have the environmental impact, but we drove over 100,000 young people into H&M stores. They dropped off their clothes, they got a coupon, and they probably did some more shopping. So this was good for H&M's bottom line as well as their environmental impact. So how did we do it? Why did it work? One is competition fires people up. We have members on over half of all college campuses, even terrible campuses like Duke, and we wanted to create a competition so that Duke and UNC were battling it out, not just during March Madness, but during our competition. The real world, okay, it's not better than digital, but it is oft forgotten these days. We see headlines like this. It's like, young people would rather have the internet than daylight. Text all the time, forget about everything else, move all your money. It's like simmer down for a moment. When you look at word-of-mouth marketing, only 7% happens online. 93% of word of mouth happens in the real world. So we need to be creating real world experiences so young people talk about us and talk about our campaigns to their friends. And that's especially critical because this is what they want to do. They want to do good stuff in the real world. And it's especially critical because when it comes to social change, 60% of young people choose to volunteer solely because their friends are doing it. It's not as if the good kids are doing it and the bad kids aren't. If their friends are doing it, they want to do it too. So we need this experience to activate them and excite them. Tip number 3, create urgency. We see that campaigns that feel urgent or have a time block, 5 times more action is happening. H&M had this campaign all year, and they collected less than about 100,000 pounds of clothes, which is good. But when we compressed it into 8 weeks and created a goal and created a sense of urgency and a competition with an end date, we were able to blow out the goal of the previous year. Tip number 4, employees matter. We often talk about consumer engagement, but at H&M, their employees are these awesome young people. And so at the time, and I sort of can't believe this, and again, I love H&M, they're an amazing partner, and we did such a great program together, but at the time, the only way they were communicating with their store employees was through fax. They would fax the store manager, and then he would tell, or she would tell the employees what was going on. So what we did, which seems simple, is we created a one-to-one texting relationship with H&M store employees and said, hey, you want to get involved? Text H&M to 38383, our short code, and we're selecting 2 conscious captains at every single H&M, and we created real incentives, employees, and competitions for the employees at H&M. And so I mentioned texting because tip number 5 is meet them where they are. We know from the previous slides, from previous folks, that young people are on their phones. So at DoSomething, we text with over 3.5 million young people on Tuesdays. There's lots of new, flashy, shiny technologies that we also use, but we find texting critical. I think if you type in email is for into Google, it autofills old people. And texting, we all know you open every single text message. You probably text with your friends, your family, your partner. And if you're a teenager, the 4th person on that list is DoSomething, and you open every single text message. And I think sometimes one-to-one communications get left by the wayside. But if you see in this chart, messaging has actually surpassed social media as a preference for communication. So it doesn't mean forget social media. It just means don't forget messaging. Don't forget one-to-one. And that includes things like chatbots. Chatbots aren't social media, they're messaging. Young people want to talk one-to-one or one-to-a-few. It's more personal, you can customize it, segment in a better way. And so this is what we're always thinking about. Text messaging, chatbots, what's the future of messaging in addition to the future of social media? So the case study that I'm going to talk about now was a miss. And you should just Google this GIF that doesn't work because it's Nick Young of the Lakers literally shooting a 3 and being like, yes! And then it rimmed out and didn't go in. And it's an incredible GIF. So just check it out when you have spare time. So the partnership I'm going to talk about is a DoSomething JCPenney partnership. And not everything went badly, of course. We raised over $1 million for DoSomething and our scholarship fund and our activations. But there was a lot of things that just didn't resonate. It was a roundup at the register program, so customers at JCPenney are the only people who could participate because you need to buy something, and then you can round up the change to donate to DoSomething. So it had employee engagement, which was great, and there was other positive things about this, but there was a few misses. So tip number 6, find authentic brand engagement. I'm not saying that DoSomething and JCPenney could never work together. We work with a lot of companies who are trying to skew down or who don't understand Gen Z and millennials, and let's create a partnership together. But in this partnership in particular, the only people who could participate was this woman. She's actually in a JCPenney store in this picture. This is the JCPenney consumer. In order to participate, you had to be an existing JCPenney customer. You couldn't just be a DoSomething member at your school or in your sorority. You had to be buying something. Whereas in the H&M example, you did the social change, and then after, if you wanted to buy, great, but it wasn't a prerequisite. And so we didn't get these amazing young people that we got in the H&M story because they weren't existing JCPenney customers. Tip number 7, you can't hide behind cause. You might remember in 2013, JCPenney was having some challenges, and the campaign we created wasn't a good campaign. We often hear young people care about purpose, so if you're a brand, you think, let's create a purpose-driven campaign. But my most sage advice is that shitty branding is shitty branding. You can't put purpose on poop. It doesn't happen. It doesn't become better. So just make sure that you're just as rigorous when you're looking at your purpose programs as you are at your other programs, because they need to be just as good. Tip number 8, data is king. So TMI did some research, and they asked, who should be most responsible for addressing the problems facing our world today? And this harkened back to what Bobby was saying, and I'm so glad I got to run into him in the hallway because he's such a good guy. And when we did this research and we said, who should it be? Should corporations solve? Should governments? Should nonprofit? Like, who is responsible? And it turns out that young people said citizens should be most responsible for addressing the challenges of our world. And so that doesn't mean that brands are off the hook. It just means that brands can't put out that sustainability PDF and hope for the best. And it means that in programs like this, you need to give folks a real way to activate. You can't just ask them to raise money. You need to give them real experiential things that your consumers can do to address the world's problems. The other thing that data prevents against is hippos. So hippos are the people that ruin everything. And if DoSomething had brought data, we knew we had data that said that this program wouldn't work, but we didn't bring it. And the only way to disagree with hippos is data. And hippos are the highest paid people in the office. And they always win unless you can fight them with data. And so even when we're doing purpose, let's make sure everything we do is rigorously data-backed. And honestly, DoSomething fell down on the job on that one because we had the data, we just didn't bring it along. If you want more information about slaying hippos and purpose, TMI puts out an awesome newsletter every Tuesday. It's called TNT, Till Next Tuesday. And you can text TNT to 38383 or just find me later. I'm more than happy to chat with you. So thank you. Why not end with Ryan Gosling?